also finance. Hello, recording in progress. I've also been chair of public property and law enforcement. I've spoken before about how I think our county board needs to be run by our committees. In our handbook, it says we are run by committees. I think our legislation, our ordinances should come from the committees. I think there should be a good process for that. We shouldn't have to rehash a whole bunch of things. And then it should come to the full county board. Now, there's been a lot of talk about who gets what committees, because I've had it brought up to me, and you know what? You all apply for the committees, and I'm just a fair person. If you've got the experience for that committee, that's who goes on there, because there's been a lot of talk of other ways. It's enough. We need to come to our county board and all of us have the same fair share when we're representing the people that we represent and do a whole county vision. This isn't just an Ashland City thing. It's not just an outlying thing. This is Team Ashland County. I've talked about that a whole bunch of times. We need to make sure every place is a priority. Also, our finances. I've pushed really hard to get us to have controls for our finances. And I hope we'd continue with that. And I plan on, no matter chair or not, pushing for those controls and making sure that we have good processes so all of us understand and all of us have that say. Like I said, the ones of you that already know me know how I am. It'll be the same way. Those of you that don't, go ahead and call in and we can have a talk later or anything. But I hope you'll vote for me for county chair so we can have a good, strong vision for the whole county. Thank you.
Mr. Burdick, Mr. Pufall. Mr. Pufall.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to the new people on the board. I hope it's a smooth ride you get. I've been on the board for, I guess, 17 years. Been chairman for 3 years, vice chairman for about 6 years. We've got a lot of good things done in the last few years. We are struggling right now financially, but some of the new people we got on board, I think, are really going to help us with that. Regardless of who gets to be chair, we have to keep one thing in mind. We're here for the betterment of Ashland County. And we have to put aside our petty squabbles and whatever and get along and get the work done at the county. So I would appreciate your support. Anybody, we don't take questions, right?
Any supervisors free to speak and ask questions or?
Okay, that's about all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Martig?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Most folks know me. The new members will get to know me. I represent District 21 down in the southern part of the county, and I agree that our job is to work for our constituents, but in the end, win or lose an argument, you always come back and start over and do what's best for the county. And anybody who knows me will know that I fight like heck for what I believe in, but when that issue's done, win or lose, we move on to the next thing. I don't hold back. Just a little bit about me. I graduated from Ashland High School. I graduated from Ashland WITC. I was a former county employee for 9 years in human services. I've got 10 years on the county board. I just started my 32nd year on the school board. I had 12 years on the town board where I live, and I was 4 years elected law enforcement. So I have a diverse background, and I believe everybody has a right to their opinion and should be heard. I also agree that the committees, when they send something to the board, it needs to be discussed. If the board turns it down, that's the right of the county board, but everything out of a committee that's referred needs to come to this board. And I will do everything in my power if I'm elected to make sure that we run this meeting smoothly and that we talk with the administrator before the meeting so that we don't get into discussions that last an hour when maybe the committee already handled it. But I thank you for any support and good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Does any other supervisor wish to speak? Okay, Heather and Sue, can you please pass the ballots out? Okay, so in front of you is a ballot. Again, write down the name of the candidate of your choice. Please do not put any identifying markers on it.
Say church. Hit them again.
Before the ballots are counted, does someone have to get a majority of the full county board?
Yes, somebody has to get a majority of the full county board. If nobody reaches 11, then we'll have to revote until somebody does reach 11. Then you'll see on top here on the screen, as the names are right off, I'm going to put a 1 next to the person's name, and it'll automatically tally on the far right side.
Gary. Dick Kufal. Richard Kufal. Laura Negro. Gary Murdig. Dick Kufal. Dick Kufal. Dick Kufal. Kufal. Laura Negro. Gary Murdig. Dick Kufal. Dick Kufal. Gary Murdig. Laura Negro. Dick Kufal. Richard Kufal. Gary Murdig. Laura Negro. Laura Negro.
On the first ballot, we have 10 for Mr. Pufall, 5 for Ms. Negro, 5 for Mr. Murtig. We'll have to cast our ballots again. Nope, everybody is still eligible unless one candidate wishes to drop out. Hi, Ashley. Okay, Ms. Stone, we're voting for county board chair right now. This is a secret ballot. Please don't put any identifying markers on the ballot, and the 3 candidates are up on the board.
Dan, does she need to be sworn in before she votes?
Yes, she doesn't have her. Mr. Pufall, can you turn your microphone off, please? Can you turn your microphone off, please?
Okay. I, Ashley Stone, have been elected to the office of County Board Supervisor, District 13, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof. Swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So, again.
Okay, we're on the second ballot for the party county board chair.
Dick Poofall. Laura Negro. Richard Poofall. Gary Murdig. Laura Negro. Laura Negro. Gary. Laura Negro. Dick Poofall. Poofall. Dick Poofall. Gary Murdig. Richard Poofall. Dick Poofall. Laura Negro. Dick Poofall. Dick Poofall. Dick Poofall. Dick Poofall. Gary Murdig. Gary Murdig.
Heather, can you please count the Poofall votes to make sure it's 11?
$11.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. Can you please take your seat? Can you please take your seat?
Dan?
Yep.
While we're waiting for Dick to take his seat, I really like the way we're doing this year, up on the chart up there and putting it in like this. So I think this is the way we should do it all the time.
Thank you. Or thank Heather, actually. It was her idea.
Thank you, Heather.
Just one other thing about the microphones. When you're done speaking, can you please turn your microphone off? If you have too many of them on, they stop working.
Okay, we'll go to number 7, nominations for vice chair.
Microphone, please.
Nominations for vice chair.
Nominate Gary Murtig.
Second.
What was the second nomination?
You don't need it. No, it was just Gary Murtig. You don't need a second for nominations. So ask again for any other nominations.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Laura Negro.
Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mike Berlin.
Are there any other nominations? Last call. Any other nominations? Okay, nomination for vice chair. What? Okay, floor is open for debate.
I'll go first again. As vice chair, I think the job is to assist the chair in making sure the meeting is run efficiently and according to Robert's rules. The position should also be to help the county board chair keep the meetings running efficiently and timely. I know Robert's rules. Vice chair doesn't have much sway on anything else, so Robert's rules. But I really would like your assistance in getting the vice chair position so we can make sure that we're all recognized.
Heather.
Thank you.
Over here.
This is Mike Berlin over here. I would like to just ask for your vote here and in assisting the chair perform his duties as the chairman to run the meeting in a proficient manner. As Laura had indicated, you know, it's a position here that I'm not sure. I think being chairman of a subcommittee would be more important than sitting as vice chair, because there's a second vice chair to this position as well. So I think I could assist Dick here in performance of his duties. Thank you.
I won't hold this procedure up, seeing all the ballots have been cast. Thank you.
Laura Negro. Laura Negro. Laura. Laura Negro. Gary Murdig. Gary Murdig. Gary Murdig. Mike Berlin. Gary Murdig. Mike Berlin. Mike Berlin. Laura Negro. Laura Negro. Gary Murdig. Gary Murdig. Berlin. Mike Berlin. Mike Berlin. Laura. Gary Murdig. Gary Murdig.
Majority has not been reached. A second ballot will occur.
Murdig. Negro. 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 Berlin. Murdig. Berlin. 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 Negro. Murdig. Berlin. Murdig. 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 Berlin. Murdig. Murdig.
Majority has not been reached. There'll be another ballot.
Do we have to arm wrestle now? I wasn't prepared for it, but.
It may come to that.
I have to make more copies.
Dan, while we're waiting for the votes to come, could I explain this real quick?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, in 1992, they brought elk here to Ashland County. And this week, we made the headlines of the paper. They are in the town of Marengo, about a mile from my house. And we would just like to pass this around so everybody could get a chance to look at it and be grateful that you are from a great county of Ashland. We had them in our yard last August, a mother and a calf with collars on them. And they are very it's, when you look at them, how big they are, it's wonderful to see them. Thank you.
Dan,
Sir,
I'd like to withdraw.
okay. Mr. Berlin would like to withdraw from contention. Mr. Berlin.
I got better odds arm wrestling Gary this time.
Can- I just like to say it's really nice to have all 21 board members present. That, you know, especially for the new members, we don't know who the new faces are. And so it's a lot better as far as I'm concerned than Zoom. Thank you.
Okay, just as a reminder, Supervisor Berlin has withdrawn from contention, so
Murdig. Negro. 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 Murdig. 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 Negro. Murdig. Murdig. Negro. Murdig. 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 And Murdig.
could you please count the ballots to make sure that Mr. Murdick has 13 votes?
$13.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair. Could you please take your seat?
Next thing on the agenda, number 8, we'll accept nominations for the second vice chair.
Nominate Kathy Schutte.
Any other nominations?
Laura Negro.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Mike Berlin.
Any other nominations? Last call. Any other nominations? Nomination period for second vice chair is closed.
Any comments?
What?
Any comments?
Any comments?
You want me to, go ahead.
Is this where we get a chance to speak?
Go ahead.
So I'm running for the second vice chair. This is the beginning of my 6th term on the county board. I am a lifelong resident of Ashland County. And in the 10 years that I've served on the county board, I have never missed a meeting. Once I did it from my hospital bed, but I was excused and I voted on that meeting. The reason this position came into deal is because of the pandemic. So if the chair and the vice chair went to a meeting and they got COVID or some reason that they couldn't hold the meeting, then the second vice chair would step in. So it's not a really important job. It's kind of not probably ever going to happen, but that's the reason they created that. So I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
At this
Anybody
time, it
else
would,
want to speak?
at this time, it would be arm wrestling Kathy and Mike this time. So I appreciate the nomination and yeah, that's kind of how the position is like it's the backup COVID. So like the Jordan Love of the Packers for a while. So I would be very happy to be that backup quarterback if it ever came into necessity, but I hope it doesn't, because that would mean somebody's sick or hurt or something else. So
Any more discussion? Hearing none, let's vote.
Ready? Berlin. Negro. Negro. Berlin. Negro. 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 Berlin. Shooty. Shooty. Negro. Negro. Shooty. 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 Berlin. Berlin. Negro.
A majority has not been reached. Another vote will occur.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. We're here, over here. Withdraw, please.
Mike Berlin has withdrawn his nomination for second vice chair.
Chair, before everybody writes anything down, I withdraw too.
Laura, I
There
was
you go,
just going to
Hatch.
arm wrestle you.
All right, we're not going to do the ballots. We only have one candidate. All those in favor of Kathy Shooty for second vice chair? Say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you. To the best of my ability.
We go to number 9, adoption of the rules. Dan?
So this will be adopting the county supervisor's handbook and Robert's rules as the rules of the county board.
Just a point of clarification, we don't have any changes from last time on either of these.
No, we don't.
Bill?
I'll move for adoption.
Okay, we have a motion by Bill Metzinger, move for adoption. Ron?
Ron Stender will second.
Seconded by Ron Sindor. All those in favor of adoption, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Need a motion to approve the second county board minutes.
I make a motion, we accept them as presented.
Motion by Kathy Schutte, seconded by John Wayner. Any discussion? Yes.
I'd like a point of clarification on 7E and 7F. The notes say the exact same thing, and I imagine it's supposed to be in 7E, the highway fund instead of the sheriff fund.
What did he say?
I see.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Bill,
Weren't they two separate items?
Right, but
go ahead.
in the motion, I referred to the sheriff's department in both of the motions, and one should have been highway fund and one should have been sheriff's department.
Right, so 7E needs to be corrected to say highway department instead of sheriff's department.
Yep.
Do you need a motion for the amendment? Brad Ray moved to amend the minutes to have 7E say highway department. Highway fund.
Okay. Motion made by Brad, seconded by Kathy Schutte. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, we still need approval
Excuse
of
me.
the.
Lori, Mr. Stark abstained.
Are you ready? Go to number 10, we need approval of the county board minutes from March 22nd. What?
That's what we did. We're in executive.
Oh, what's the change? Okay, I'm sorry. Next, to accept nominations for the highway committee.
No, executive.
Oh,
Executive.
I'm sorry, executive comes first.
Okay, I'd like to point out, the board chair is automatically a member of the executive committee as the chairman of the finance committee. So you'll be actually voting on 3 people. The other thing is this is a public vote. And you need to initial your ballot or write your name or something to identify it so it's counted.
When nominations are being done, please state your name.
This is Laura Negro. I nominate Clarence.
And this is Kathy Schutte, and I nominate Gary Mertig.
Clarence Campbell, I nominate Bill Metzinger.
Yes, sir.
I nominate Michael Stark.
What do we got? 6?
Pat Kenny.
Pat?
I'm going to decline the nomination.
Any more nominations?
Can we nominate 2 people? The same person? Can I nominate Marty Vitek?
Sure.
Can you clarify for us that have not done this before? On this 3, do we write down 3 people that we want?
Yes, that's correct. 3 people from the list of nominees.
And last thing, Dan, could you remind everybody to initial their ballots so they don't forget?
Yes, once again, please initial your ballots or put your name or something. The results of this are public if ever asked. Have all ballots been cast?
Got some more here. Well, they said vote often.
Heather, we cannot hear you.
Campbell, Metzinger, Stark, Murdig,
Okay. That ballot only had one name on it, so everybody knows.
Murdig, VTech. Murdig, VTech, Metzinger. Metzinger, Campbell. Campbell, Metzinger, VTech. Murdig. We have Berlin, VTech, Murdig. There was Berlin, but
Okay, so
so one for VTech, one for Murdig. Campbell, Metzinger, Stark, VTech, and Kinney. VTech, Stark, Campbell. Campbell, Murdig, Metzinger, VTech, Metzinger, and Berlin. Murdig, Stark, VTech. Stark, Campbell, Metzinger. Campbell, Murdig, Metzinger, VTech, Campbell. Murdig. Vitek. Campbell. Murdig. Vitek. Metzinger.
Can you please verify Campbell has 12, Metzinger has 12, and VTech has 12?
Campbell.
Dan, could you say that again, please?
We're verifying the Mr. Campbell, Metzinger, and VTech have 12 votes.
$12 for Campbell.
Congratulations, Mr. Campbell.
$12 for Metzinger.
Congratulations, Mr. Metzinger.
And 12 for VTech.
Congratulations, Mr. VTech.
We'll go to the nominations for the Highway Committee.
Okay, the way this one works is there's going to be 5 separate votes. Highway Committee is divided amongst the county. So the first vote is going to be a representative from districts 1 to 11, which is the city of Ashland and Madeline Island. So the only nominees can be from those districts 1 to 11 on the first vote. On the second vote, we'll be having a vote on districts 1 to 13. So that includes the reservation. And only nominees from those districts are eligible to serve. On the third vote, we'll be doing the central district, which is districts 14 to 17, in the central part of the county. Only members from those 14 through 17 are eligible for the committee in that vote. Fourth, we'll be doing one for 18 to 20, the southern part of the county. And then finally, there's an at-large seat, which can be any member of the board. So the first vote will be on the city of Ashland, District 1 to 11. And Chairman, nominations.
All right, you ready for nominations, Clarence?
I nominate Bill Metzinger.
I nominate Ron Sindor. Any more nominations? Any more nominations?
get that right?
Matt?
I nominate Brady Ray.
Sorry. Oh, Mr. Okay.
Any more nominations? Last call. Any more nominations? Okay, nominations are closed for district.
One
1
thing,
through
everyone,
13.
please remember to initial your ballots or sign them or something.
Metzinger. Ray. Stendor. Ray. Ray. Stendor. Metzinger. 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 Oh, not initial, sorry. Stendor. Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Stendor. Metzinger. 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 Stendor. Stendor. Ray.
Majority has not been reached.
Oh, we gotta do it again.
And one ballot did not count because there was no identification on it. So again, everyone, please remember to sign or initial your ballot.
Doing the same one over again?
Metzinger. Metzinger. Stendor. Metzinger. 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 Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Stendor. Metzinger. Stendor. Metzinger. Metzinger.
Can you please verify Mr. Metzinger has 12 votes?
Well,
Mr. Metzinger has 12 votes. Congratulations. Okay, so this is for for districts 1 to 13. It's the city of Ashland, Madeline Island, and the Bad River Reservation.
Marty, I nominate Mike Berlin.
No. Clarence,
I nominate Mike Stark.
or,
I nominate Ron Zindor.
oh, no. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? This is the last call. Any other nominations? Nomination period is closed.
Again, please remember to initial or write your name or identify somehow.
Berlin. Berlin. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm sorry, the second ballot just says Michael, and there's 2 Michaels on the ballot. So the second ballot says Michael, and there's 2 Michaels on the ballot, so that one's not going to count.
Give me each one.
Berlin. 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 Another one, it only says Mike.
So another one's not counted.
Stendor. Stendor. Berlin. 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 Stark. Berlin. Stendor. Berlin. 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 Stark. Berlin. Stendor.
Can we please verify Mr. Berlin has 13 votes?
$13.
Mr. Berlin, you have 13 votes. Congratulations.
Okay.
So this next vote is going to be on the central district. So anybody from districts 14, 15, 16, or 17 are eligible for this seat.
I nominate Marty Vitek.
Any other nominations? Bill?
I nominate Rich Huber.
Any other nominations? Laura?
I nominate George Maka.
Who else is left?
Any other nominations?
Initial it. First.
Again, please remember to sign or initial your ballots.
Give me another one then.
Ready? Huber. VTech. 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 Huber. VTech. 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 Huber. Huber. VTech. VTech. Okay, sorry about that. Huber. VTech. VTech. Mika. VTech. 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 And VTech.
Can we please verify Mr. Vitek has 14 votes?
Fourteen. 14.
Congratulations, Mr. Vitek. So the next vote is on districts 18 to 21, the southern region. So that means 18, 19, 20, and 21 are eligible for the seat.
Yeah, John.
You need to use your microphones, please. I did not hear that nomination.
Kathy Schutte,
And who's making the nomination?
John Wiener.
I'd like to nominate Louis Carl.
This is Bill. I would like to nominate Gary Murdock.
Again, please remember to write your name or initial or some identifying mark.
Any more nominations? Any more nominations?
Murdig. Carl. Shooty. Murdig. Murdig. Carl. Murdig. Murdig. Shooty. Murdig. 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 Carl. Shooty. Murdig. Shooty. Murdig. Murdig. No initials. Carl. Shooty.
Can we please verify Mr. Murdick has 11 votes?
$11.
Congratulations, Mr. Murdick. Our next one is at large. Any county board member is eligible for this seat.
I nominate Bradley Ray.
Any more nominations? Clarence?
I nominate Mike Stark.
Marty? I nominate Rich Huber.
I'm sorry, who made that nomination?
This is Marty Vitek. I didn't have my button on again.
And you nominated?
Rich Huber.
I'd like to nominate George Busse.
George Bousset declines nomination. Thank you. Appreciate the thought.
He declined. I nominate Kathy Shooty.
Once again, please remember to initial mark somehow to identify your ballot.
Ready? Huber. Ray. Huber. Ray. Shooty. Ray. Stark. Huber. Stark, Huber, Shooty, Huber, Shooty, Shooty, Huber, 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 Shooty, Huber, Shooty.
Majority has not been reached. Once again, please remember to identify your ballot somehow.
Mr. Chairman, a question. One of our supervisors has left the meeting, so we'll only have George Micka, so we'll only have 20 votes. Is 10 a majority or does it still have to be 11?
It would still be 11 with 20 votes.
Ready? Huber, Shooty, Shooty, Huber, Shooty, Huber, Huber, Shooty, Ray, Huber, 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 Shooty, Huber, Shooty, Huber, Stark, Shooty, Huber, Huber.
Can we please verify Mr. Huber received 11 votes?
$11.
Congratulations, Mr. Huber.
Number 13, appointment of committee assignments. Approved committee assignments.
So we're going to hand out a list of all the committees and who was on those committees for the last board. If members could please write their top 3 on there. For the 1, 2, 3.
Could you please repeat that instruction?
Yes. Heather's going to be handing out a sheet that looks like this. This is all the committees and who appoints those committees. And please write a 1, 2, or 3 by the committee of your choice. So for example, I'll just pick on the first one. If you want ag and extension as your first choice, please write a 1 there. If you want forestry as your second choice, write a 2 there. And so forth. And
Dan, could you repeat the directions again for the
Sure.
new people?
sure. Again, this sheet right here. If you want ag as an extension as your number 1 committee, please write a 1 there. Or if it's that's your second choice, write a 2 there. Or if it's your third choice, write a 3 there. Leave any committee blank that you don't have much interest in. This sheet of paper also tells you who appoints that committee.
I would assume we have to put our names on here too.
Yes, you do.
If you'd like to be off of a committee that you were on last time, should you mention it?
Yeah, please do. Mr. Metzinger asked if you do not want to be on a committee. So again, if you were on ag, as an example, ag and extension last year, but do not want to be on it this year, maybe put an X there so we know. Okay. All right. So what everybody knows is the chairman and I will go through all the lists, and the chairman will do his committee assignments, and I'll do mine based on the preferences of the county board. I'm anticipating the next county board meeting to be May 10th, which is when all the committee assignments will be given out and approved by the board. So if you change your mind between now and then, please let me know.
If there, this is Bill, is if there's a committee that's supposed to meet right now, I'm on aging and they're supposed to meet the 26th of April. Should I not attend?
Well, actually, Ms. Negro, what do you think? So yes, you should meet on aging.
Question. Should I put on there why I want to be on that committee?
That's up to you. If you'd like to, yes.
Could I have mine back then?
Sure,
Well, I didn't know that.
sure. Sure. Okay, so this is something we used to do in Allegheny County, and in fact, I stole their template, so. So I know it's right because their corporate counsel did it, so. So anyhow, this is just basically a brief overview for the new members and a refresher for existing members. So my name is Dan Grady. Heather Schutte is our county clerk sitting next to me. Max Lindsay is our corporate counsel. He attends the meetings as needed. But we can, if you need, if there's a question you have, please let me know. Okay, so Robert's rules are what we run our meetings on by. You can find it online, or I have a copy right here at the desk for anybody who needs to look at it. Robert's rules gives you is what gives you structure and order to the meeting. So when the county board passes things, it's usually either a resolution or an ordinance. When we're doing something to make something happen. Resolutions are opinions, they're directives, they're appropriations, they're a catch-all for most everything the board will do. An ordinance is actual law. So if we change, say, the snowmobile speed limit, that would be done by ordinance. When we approve the budget, we'll be doing that by resolution. When we appoint somebody to a committee, we're doing that by resolution. So ordinances can contain fines in them, and they have the force of law. So this is some basic overviews of how the process works. The board will adopt it. Somebody will make a motion to approve it and second it, like we saw at some of the votes today already. And the board will open up for debate. Any members allowed to speak on the item on the floor or not speak, it's up to them. Everybody's supposed to wait their turn to speak. The chair will call on somebody, and when they have the floor, we hope that everybody respects that person's right to the floor, and they'll be next. Supervisors can raise their hand to seek attention, or some other method that lets the chair know that you'd like to speak, or that you'd like to make a motion or some other. Generally, members are not allowed to speak more than twice during any single motion. So I'll use a confusing example because that's where we're going to find it happen the most often. Is say we have a resolution on the floor and Supervisor A speaks on it once, and then supervisor, or twice even, and Supervisor B offers an amendment. That is a new piece of action, and every supervisor gets to speak twice again. So, so we will, sorry. Debate will continue until a motion if a debate is going too long, there's there's something called call to question, which is a parliamentary motion. And that requires 2/3 vote of the county board. When that happens, debate is ended on whatever the topic is, and you go straight to a vote. No other motions are in order at that point. After a debate is ended or a motion is cut off, the board votes. In general, most resolutions require or ordinances require a simple majority vote of those present, not of the board, but of those present. So as long as we have a quorum, which in the case of the county board is 11 members, we can conduct business. So 6 votes in that situation would be enabled to pass an ordinance or a resolution. Certain votes, like amending the budget or changing the table of organization outside the budget, or reconsideration, require a supermajority vote. And we will let you know before a vote whether it requires a supermajority, so everybody knows. Once the resolution is on the floor, any member may offer to amend it. And the amendment must be seconded, and then it can be voted upon. I'd stress that we do not like second-degree amendments because they get very confusing. And that's when you amend an amendment. I'd prefer if they're going to do that, that we vote on the underlying amendment first and then do a separate amendment so everybody can keep it straight. Because otherwise it will get confusing. So that an improper amendment makes adoption of the amended question equivalent to a rejection of the original motion. That's just legislative speak for if the amendment is not germane or appropriate at the time, then it's going to be rejected. Once an amendment is made and seconded, there is debate on it prior to any vote. If no member wishes to vote or debate, then we can go straight to a vote, but everything is debatable. If an amendment is passed and is changed, the underlying measure, then the county board will then vote on the passage of the resolution or ordinance as amended, instead of the original version, because the county board already approved a change to the underlying resolution or ordinance. So that would be an example if I'll use the resolution that we're going to bring up at the next meeting, which is to extend the term of the highway commissioner. They voted to extend the highway committee voted to extend it to 10 years. When it comes here, that would be the underlying resolution. When it comes to the county board floor, you could make a motion to change it to 5 years or to 20 years or to whatever you wanted. If the county board votes to say change it to 5 years or 20 years, in order to pass, then that's what you're voting on. You're not voting on what came on the highway, you're voting on how the county board amended it. And then when these situations come up, we will go over this again, just so everybody understands what they're voting on at the time. A motion to reconsider. This is when, after the county board passes an ordinance or resolution, and you decide at the next meeting, somebody who's on the prevailing side. So whether they were the yeses one or the noes one, somebody on the prevailing side can ask for that item agenda to come back by the next meeting. At which case, at the next meeting, that item will come back up for a vote. A member on the losing side of the original vote is not entitled to make a motion to reconsider. Only a member of the prevailing side can make a motion to reconsider. And technically speaking, no resolution or ordinance that passes here is permanent until after the next meeting because of that possibility of reconsideration. So it is possible what you can do at a meeting if you want to make sure something is locked in and is not amendable anymore, is you can make a motion to reconsider right after to vote. So if we voted on ordinance X and you wanted to make sure that nobody could bring this back in the future, you can make a motion to reconsider right afterwards and vote on that, which requires 2/3. And that is locked in and not changeable without brand new resolution or ordinance coming forward. So whatever a motion to reconsider is, it's open to debate. Anybody can say what they want. But again, it's not considered locked in permanent until the next meeting. Okay, a walking quorum. This is an important one. This is where many supervisors get themselves in trouble. Many city council members get themselves in trouble. A walking quorum is when there is a majority of a committee or the board who are voting or talking about action to be taken outside the confines of a public meeting. So say we have a committee that has 5 members, if 3 of them are talking on the phone together about, well, we're going to do this, this, and this, that's considered a walking quorum. That's illegal. There's also something as a negative quorum where a minority of members who are planning to stymie something can also be guilty of a walking quorum. The Department of Justice has a bunch of guidelines and rules on their website. I encourage everybody to go look at it. If you're unable to attend a meeting, please contact me or the clerk's office to be excused. That goes for committee meetings or regular county board meetings. And we will actually have a form available for you at the clerk's office. Business cards, I know most of you don't have them, but if you want them, please let us know and we'll get you some. Then there's the WCA. The WCA is our lobbying arm in Madison. They represent all 72 counties and they help come up with common policy for everyone. And again, they lobby the state legislature on our behalf. The Chairman Pufall is actually going to go next week to vote for the Northwest region's 2 representatives on the WCA board. On their website, you can find a lot of useful, helpful information. One of the things you can find on there is the videos from the COWS meetings last year. That is, or 2 years ago. That's the county officials workshop. Something the WCA puts on every 2 years for new supervisors and existing supervisors who want a refresher. This year's meetings, in-person meetings, are going to be May 18th in Cable and May 19th in Minocqua. And if you would like to attend in person, please let me or the clerk know. Otherwise, on the WCA website, you can find the video of the 2020 meetings and you can watch it there on your own time. I'd also like to say the WCA has an annual convention every year. This year is September 18th to 20th, and it's going to be at the Kalahari in the Dells. If you would like to attend, please make a request to me as soon as possible. We will be bringing this to the executive committee for approval at their next meeting. So again, they have various seminars and they do have legislative information on there that is very helpful for everyone. I highly encourage you to visit the WCA website. This is about the county officials workshop. They talk about the roles and responsibilities of county board members there. They talk about budgeting, more on open meetings laws, more on public records, running an effective meeting and updates on what's happening right now. Again, I ask everybody to look at the open meetings laws and the public records laws. That's where people get in trouble. And the DOJ does have guidelines on their website. You can type in public records, Wisconsin DOJ, and it'll be your first hit. And that will tell you everything you need to know. Miscellaneous, everybody has a desk. There is mail slots for you in my office. Committee information is generally available and board information at least 72 hours ahead of time. We try to do a week. We're legally required only to do 24 hours, but so many members like to get their packet information in the mail. We try to get everything done a week ahead of time. It will always be available on the county website. Okay, electronic communications. Again, we're going back to public records. Everything you do with your county email is subject to public records requests. We ask that every one of your official business goes through the county server. That way we have access, we have a copy of everything and can comply with any requests. You should note that if you use a private email for county work, your private email is subject to open records requests. So I highly encourage you not to use a private email or to set up a specific separate email, like a Gmail account that where all you do is use it for that. So you can comply with any records requests. Texting is subject to open records requests. So your phone can be subject to open records requests. So please be careful on how you do things in the mode of communication you use. So emails are retained for 7 years, which is under state statutes. If you have a problem, everybody has an address. For all you new members, your address, there's a sheet that has your address in front of you and your password. You can change your password as soon as you log in. And again, please, for any official business, use the county email address. It saves a whole lot of headache and hassle down the road. There are links to every email address on our county website. We will give you copies of every address. It's actually the same. It's your first name dot your last name at co.ashland.wi.us. Every county employee has the same email address. So you can get me at dan.grady or Heather at heather.shooty with the same ending. If your constituents want to talk to you, please have them use the county email address. Again, that way open records requests can be fulfilled very easily and there's no issue. There's much less issues down the road. Well, this has become a big issue. And keep stressing this because many supervisor and city council members have gotten in trouble over this. So please use your county email. Social media. Social media is a great way to keep in touch with people. It's a great way if you're running for election to campaign. It's also a great way to get yourself in trouble. People say things and do things on social media they would never do in real life. And it's there forever. So please be very careful about any social media outlets you use. It may come back to haunt you. If you're going to do one for your elected position, please set up a separate page that's distinct from your own personal page. You'll find yourself getting in less trouble that way. And it's a public figure page at that point too. Again, that is subject to open records requests. And there is no time limit on how long that stuff has to be kept. It's only as long, basically it's as long as Facebook keeps it or Instagram keeps it or Google keeps it. It's for that time period, it's subject to open records. So please be careful using social media. People get themselves in trouble all the time with that one. Again, this is just telling you some ways to help yourself with social media. Again, be smart with it, be professional. Don't share fake news. That's one of the things that'll come back and bite you. Don't share confidential information. Some of these committees you're going to be on, you may seek confidential information. You may see information in closed session, which means you can't share that with anybody until it's made public. And And I promise you, anything the county board passes is going to be a public vote. So at that point, you can share what happened in closed session to an extent. But up until that point, you have to stay quiet about it. And don't share it on social media again. Everybody has a printout of this, so please read it. If you have any questions, I'll happy to take them now. If you have questions down the road, I'll be happy to ask them. And again, Robert's rules is right here for anyone who needs it. Mr. Campbell.
Not a question, but a comment. First of all, I want to thank you for stealing this from Outagamie County, because this is really good information. And in all honesty, we've kind of strayed from some of these rules recently in the last few years. You know, people blurting out things without being recognized and things like that sort. I also want to add to the comment about calling the question. You cannot make your own comments and then say, I call the question. You can only call the question. You cannot follow up your comments and then say, I call the question.
Right. And it's a non-debatable motion too.
I've been going to a lot of meetings, and you know, a lot of these times I get asked who I am. And so sometimes I have to give them my ID. I was just wondering why Ashland County Board don't give out IDs for all your board members to prove that you are a board member for your district. So that way, when people do ask you, you have an ID to show them, because without that, they're just taking your word.
Well, Mr. Weir, we can get you some business cards, first of all, that most people will accept that as normal. You know, as far as actual IDs go, when we have to do the construction work on the building, we can look at that then, because that would then go and fall in line with the security system where you need a badge to get in. So that's something we'll take up soon. And then if supervisors want to institute that, we can.
On that, we could simply just have our pictures put on the internet with our emails and such. Otherwise, I wanted to, on the processes, part of the process that sometimes we've skipped here is also whoever makes the motion and the second are supposed to be the first and second people to address any kind of comments if they want. So they are able to have the floor right away.
A couple of questions for the administrator. In terms of bringing things back for reconsideration, in some cases, for example, let's say the county votes to execute a contract, gives you the authority to do that, and you execute that contract, and perhaps because it's timely, such as repairs to the courthouse prior to the next meeting. Once a contract is executed, or say the budget is passed in December and tax bills are sent out in December, the next meeting would be in January. It seems that there are times where you cannot reconsider something if action has been taken. So my question is, in some cases like that, would it be appropriate for the board to bring it back for reconsideration at the meeting it was passed, just so that's addressed? And then my second question is the county email. If we delete old emails, does the county still have a record of those, or are we responsible for keeping them 7 years on that email address?
To the first question, you're correct. If a contract is signed, it's signed and the county can't go back. So yes, procedurally, you're better off locking it in that meeting, doing the reconsideration right away. As far as emails, we have a copy of every email. It's using the county's. If you're using the county server, it's stored on our server. So we have a copy of everything.
And in regard to that, I think if you look, if you've deleted some emails, they'll be in the deleted emails folder, but you can go in there and recapture those emails. I mean, you can go and look at them, but you can undelete them basically.
And IT can help with any, if you're having trouble finding it, they can help you find any kind of email you're looking for. Again, they keep a copy of everything that goes through our county server.
Well, I actually empty my trash. And if the county has a backup, one reason for people deleting old emails, including their trash is that it takes less server space than, which has a cost for the county too. But if the county has it back up and we all don't need to keep everything for 7 years, it just cleans up the servers some. Yeah.
Right. But if you're using, say, a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, you need to keep all that stuff.
I just have a comment because we're on Welcome to County Board presentations. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody on the board for winning, but that leads to my next comment. This was a unique election because we had several districts with no candidate on the ballot. We had registered candidates, but I'd like to, the supervisor, and I'm not picking on District 1, but it's an interesting situation which happened in District 1. There was no candidate. There was no registered candidate. And our supervisor won as a write-in, which is, if you had a registered candidate, the write-ins wouldn't count.
And Supervisor, Mr. Ellefson was actually a registered write-in.
Okay.
It was Mr. Ray.
Oh,
who
I'm
was-
sorry.
Yeah.
Ron, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, I apologize. So, but that's a unique situation too, where we didn't have a candidate on the ballot. We didn't have a registered write-in. And a lot of community members probably think, well, how did that work? But that's the one exception to no registered candidates.
Yeah, correct. In 2014, the state legislature changed the rules. And they changed the precedent of how ballots are counted. So the rule is if a name is on the ballot, that takes precedence over everything. Write-ins just don't count, period. Unless there's a registered write-in. And that registered write-in is when somebody files as their statement of their financial disclosure by the Friday noon before the election. And while the poll workers are not allowed to tell voters that there's a registered write-in unless they ask. So if you want to know if there's a write-in, you have to ask poll workers. They can't just tell you. In the event that there's no name on the ballot or a registered write-in, then whoever gets the most votes as a write-in wins. In the event, which could have happened in Mr. Ray's case, where everybody got one vote, nobody wins. In which case the county board would appoint or the chairman would appoint and the county board would approve a member for that district.
We have 7 new members on the county board. I guess I would like to have the new members kind of introduce themselves and maybe say a little bit about themselves, starting with Blake. Well, he's number 1. He's number 1.
Could I just suggest, that's good for us, but let's also introduce ourselves so they know who we are, and we'll just go around the room.
I'm first up. So I'm Blake Ellefson. District 1. I moved to Ashland in September 2020. I have 4 children. I'm heavily involved with youth sports. I'm on the board for Little League. I coach basketball and flag football. I'm really excited about the opportunity here, and I hope for, that we can do good things for the Ashland County.
Hi, I'm Matthew Mckenzie. Most people just call me Matt. I live in town here, been here for just about 30 years, and I've been on the county board for the last 20. So, thank you.
I'd like to point out, Mr. Mckenzie is also our new mayor.
Mayor Mckenzie always is like a good lead off when you start your intro. My name is Laura Negro. You guys heard me talk already. I am the current executive director for the Aging Unit and Faith in Action. I already warned everybody at the last meeting when I have that hat on, I will be asking them for help. But otherwise, I've lived in town since 2015 and just love the area and the big water, and hope to do the same as Blake, is just keep pushing forward and have some good things happen for Ashland County.
Hi, my name is Bill Metzinger. I'm from Butternut originally. I've went to Northland, And I stayed working for Ashland County. I worked for Ashland County for 42.5 years. And I've been retired. And so now this year I'm out of school 50 years. I'm getting old. Thank you.
I'm Clarence Campbell. I'm a native of the Ashland area, born and raised on a dairy farm right around the corner from where Kathy lives. And our farm was a 100-year family farm in 1985. Since it's been sold a couple of times. I've lived in, we bought our house on Chapel Avenue 40 years ago this summer. I've been on the county board for 26 years. I think I'm the second longest member of the board here next to George Micka. I've been doing high school basketball, sports broadcasting on the radio and on the internet for over 40 years and broadcast Blake's football and basketball games when he was in high school.
I'm Brad Ray in District 6. This is my second stint in Ashland. I was originally here as a student at Northern College, moved back here. Graduated 20 years ago from Northern College and then moved back here 6 years ago to work for the Department of Natural Resources on Lake Superior. I am the infamous winner of a 2-vote write-in campaign. My wife and I decided that somebody should serve. We were kind of disappointed that nobody was running and asked a couple neighbors and they didn't want to. And so on the election day, we decided that my name would be good. And if 2 votes was enough, it's enough. And so here I am. Approved, and it was quite unique getting a call from Dan on Wednesday morning asking or saying congratulations, but hope to be active. I throw my time to be detail oriented and be a productive member of the Board of Supervisors. So happy to be here.
I'm Pat Kinney. I grew up on a dairy farm out by Mason. I've got most of that land now. It'll be in the farm 100 years come 2029. So I got to get to that mark there. I taught math and higher ed, retired a few years ago, still spend lots of time out at the farm doing things once the weather warms up, which is nice. So been here 2 years.
I'm Mike Stark, District 10, which is Madeline Island and part of the city of Ashland. I spent 8 years on the county board in the past, took 6 years off, and now lucky enough to be back. I've been living on Madeline Island for 22 years, retired 22 years ago, and I enjoy the work on the county board.
My name is Ron Stender. I moved here in 2014, opened a business up, and have last year sold that business and been on the county board 2020 on some of the committees. And I just find working with everyone in this room has been nothing but a pleasure. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Michael Berlin, and I am humbled to represent the town of Sanborn, one of 2 representatives. And this is my second term, and I enjoy
cut your nail.
sitting on subcommittees. Thank you.
Bonjour, Minogigajib. My name's Ashley. Good morning. I am from Bad River. I am a lifelong resident of Ashland County. I graduated from Ashland High School in '06. I have 3 kids that are in the Ashland School District. And I serve on our senior council for Tribal Council in Bad River. I look forward to working with you all.
Good morning. I'm George Busay, representing District 14, which is part of Jingles and part of White River. My father was a soils conservationist in Price County and Ashland County. So I started life in Phillips and graduated then from Ashland High School. I was grad in math and physics from University of Wisconsin, and then a finance MBA I worked overseas with the International Chamber of Commerce. I worked finance for Ford Motor Company and Xerox Corporation. Came back to Ashland in retirement to do degrees at the Technical College in massage and nursing. So I am now still a registered nurse, and most recently been working with the hospice organization here in Ashland County.
My name is Marty Vitek. I'm the representative from District 16. I'm retired and enjoying it very much. And I spend a whole lot of time doing whatever I please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rich Huber. I represent District 17, more or less City of Mellon. And so I'm starting my second term and I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.
And I'm Kathy Schutte, and this year I'm representing District 18, which is the full town of Marengo and the southern part of the town of Morris. One thing that I am very proud of is through the Ashland County 4-H group, we have a 100-year Homestead Certificate given out to people who can prove they lived in the county for over 100 years. And our kids did that project when they were in 4-H in the early 1990s. I love being on the county board. I will do anything. I will run to the end of the county and try and help those down there. And Mike Stark, someday I'll meet you in Madeline Island and we'll have coffee so I can say I've been there too. I have the kindest husband you could ever ask for. I'm celebrating my 48th wedding anniversary when it comes up. And if it wasn't for him to let me do what I would like to do, I owe all my gratitude to my husband.
Louis Carl, represent District 19. I was on the Town of Jacobs Board for 12 years, 6 as supervisor, 6 as chairman. I retired yesterday, so I'm newly retired. And I did a lot of work for Faith in Action over the years, so that was one of my things I like doing. So.
My name is John Weiner. I'm for the district at number 20. For Glidden, I have done very, very good for the town of Glidden for the last 4 years. And this is my third term, and I'm so proud to be with everybody. And I'm also proud to be an Ashland County supervisor. I spent 40 years in Ashland County as a foreman for construction companies. I'm a union contractor, or union member rather, and I'm very proud to be union. I'm just glad to be back here again. Thank you.
I'm Gary Murdick, I represent the town of Agenda and all of the village of Butternut now with the redistricting. And I'll kind of copy Kathy a little bit. The only reason I'm here today is because of my wife. She anything to get me away from being. But we'll hit 47 years this year too. And that's the only reason I'm really back. I grew up in New York. I graduated from Ashland, as I said, for high school and college. And I met my wife at college. And once you go to Butternut, you never leave, Bill. So thank you.
Yeah, good morning and welcome new people on the board. It's really fantastic that people stepped up so that we got a compliment full board like Matt mentioned before. I'm a lifelong resident of Ashland. I've lived here almost as long as there's been a city of Ashland. As far as the, appreciate everybody turning in your appointment list of what you would like to be on. Dan and I will be doing this together. And hopefully we will match everybody up to the position that's going to benefit Ashland County the most. So anyway, thank you for your support. Thank you for stepping up. And anybody's got any questions or whatever, call me anytime. Thank you. Okay.
I also would like to thank Dan Grady for doing, I think he's doing a wonderful job for us. So let's give him a hand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ashley County Board of Supervisor urges our members of Congress to support and promote funding for the vital services provided to Ashland County seniors under Title III of the Older Americans Act. We need a motion to approve.
So move.
Marty
Wait a minute.
Vitek, I'll
Who
second.
made the motion?
I did.
Motion by Kathy Schutte, seconded by Marty Vitek. What, Laura?
I brought this to Dan. This Older Americans Act resolution funds the assistance that we do for our seniors and our disabled in the county. This is a vital piece of federal legislation that we need to make sure that we let them know that this is very necessary. And hopefully at the bigger amount that they have in the bill and not the smaller one that everybody keeps trying to knock it down to, because we already know as a county, we have a hard time, whether it's ADRC or if I put on my other hat, the aging unit. We have a hard time funding our people in order to actually do the services. So I would appreciate you all also contacting state and federal representatives soon, because this is supposed to be on the docket soon at the federal level, to show them that our older Americans and our disabled are very important to our county.
I may get into a little bit of trouble by making this comment, but we just had a presentation about how to make motions and seconds, and the presentation said that the person making the motion should be recognized first. We had a motion that was made without being recognized. And so we're already deviating from the rules that Dan just sent to us. There are a couple of hands up. Laura's hand was up, Marty's hand was up. And then Kathy, you made the motion to adopt without being recognized.
Well, let's fix it then.
No, I'm
After-
just saying that we need to go by the rules that were just, that Dan made the presentation.
We're good now. So let's just move forward.
Yeah, I think it's implied, but I want to make sure it's clear that after we pass this, and I have little doubt that it won't pass, but that it be forwarded to our representatives too, so that they're aware that we have taken this action.
Yeah, it will be forward to Congressman Tiffany and Senators Baldwin and Johnson.
All in favor of passing the resolution, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. The only thing we have left on the agenda is Mike.
Motion to adjourn.
I don't see any hands for a second. Second. I just don't want Clarence on my back.
Yeah, for the record, everyone, you do not need a second to adjourn.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sit-